And this stream should be a little bit shorter than normal. I'm just going over some changes to my Croesus the Perjurer deck, which is no longer Croesus the Perjurer. So welcome to channel 35, HAND, the hand. Let's get going. Okay, so Croesus the Perjurer has been killed off by Lord Xander the Collector. Lord Xander the Collector is by far the new general, the better general, and honestly the cheaper to play general. Just for a quick comparison, Croesus the Perjurer cost 6 mana, right? Cost 6. But in reality it costs 9 because you have to pay 3 for the ability, which kind of shows his age, right? Like, he's from Plane Shift. He is crazy old, and back in the day this used to be a fantastic ability, way over the top. Now it's crazy underpowered, so he is cut, and Lord Xander the Collector is in. His abilities are obnoxiously powerful. Enters the battlefield, target opponent discards half their cards in their hand rounded down. Okay, so that's coming into play. Attacks, defending player mills half their library rounded down. Great. I do have a lot of, not a lot, but I have enough graveyard effects where that is very relevant. And the most frequently relevant is Author of Shadows. So let's get Author of Shadows up, and yeah. So Author of Shadows is by far the most relevant one here. I use this ability all the time. It is extremely good for F5 mana. You literally get any card you want out of their graveyard, and now I actually have a way to mill in this deck from my commander, which makes it even more powerful. So I'm inclined to include even more graveyard relevant effects because of my commander. I don't know if I will just yet, but I'm inclined to. Alright. So now let's go back down to Lord Xander the Collector, and third ability makes it even more bonkers. When Lord Xander dies, target opponent sacrifices half the non-land permanents they control rounded down. It's like, okay, yes, thank you. Thank you for solving this blue, black, red commander puzzle for me with a brand new card that does absolutely everything I want it to do, where Croesus the Perjurer was only doing the first ability on Lord Xander pretty much. So I gained 2 more abilities on 1 card. That's crazy powerful. Alright. So we're going to save that and just go over the new deck. So we're just going to go through. Bolas's Citadel has not yet come into play. The reason I'm playing it, though, is because of it is on theme. Trust me, it is on theme. I like the pay life ability. I like drawing extra cards, paying life that way. But the main reason also, or secondary reason, is I need some form of direct damage. And I am totally fine. Well, actually it does say sacrifice 10 non-land permanents now that I'm looking at it, which would be a little bit difficult to do. So I thought it was any permanent, but so Bolas's Citadel might get cut at some point just because it costs triple black, and triple black is hard to do. And that second ability is way less relevant now that I'm rereading it and saying that it's non-land permanents. So Bolas's Citadel is probably going to turn into some other type of draw effect. I was trying to see what it was. I'm not sure what it was because I got a swamp proxy under there right now. But Either way, it's kind of on the cut block because I'll literally never be able to activate the second ability, and I don't really need the first ability. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's good, mind you, like it's always good drawing extra cards for life, but there's probably some other mechanic I need more. Maybe some other removal effect. Or another counter spell that also draws me cards. I'm not saying this is Cryptic Command, because Cryptic Command has the same issue this does of triple color. But it could turn into something else. Preferably something else that has some form of direct damage included. And if it's not direct damage, it's... this is a flex slot for sure. This is going to turn into something else eventually. Let's keep going. So Mana Crypt got put in here in place of... Let's see. Yeah, okay. So Mana Crypt replaced some really bad fly thing that add mana, where you could potentially give something flying. And I was like, well, that's turning out to be terrible because it comes into play tapped. Mana Crypt just allows you to play everything crazy fast. Nobody cares about the 3 damage because you have 40 life. So, yes, go Mana Crypt. Let's see. What else we got for changes? Oh, Scroll Rack is a change. Scroll Rack used to be a red draw spell. Let's see. I'll just put it up on the screen. Used to be Curse of Hospitality. That's what it used to be. No longer Curse of Hospitality. Because it didn't make sense. Chris, I'll bring it up on the screen. So it didn't make sense anymore because while the ability is really, 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 really good, I wasn't going to have the creature to potentially deal that damage. I just wasn't. Yeah, I realized that. So that got replaced with Scroll Rack as an alternate draw effect, which Scroll Rack digs a lot deeper and synergizes with Alrond, which I really like Alrond currently, so he's definitely staying in for now because he turns into a threat, like he turns himself into a threat. He's easily a 5/5, 6/6, 7/7 or so. And he's drawing you cards at the same time. Sensei's Divining Top is also a new one. And Sensei's Divining Top replaced the Reality Chip. Okay. Pretty much for the same reason of I am not going to have enough creatures to equip this, so I need something that is just blatantly not a creature, such as Sensei's Divining Top, to manipulate my library and draw me cards. Sensei's Divining Top is not the best possible thing per se, but it's really good in general. It may eventually become some kind of alternate draw spell, but I don't feel like it needs to be changed right now. I like it. I like what it's doing. It's worked out really well in games. If anything, I just draw my card, shuffle it away with a search spell or a fetch land, and it did its job. And then it comes back for more if you draw it again. Shadow Spear, definitely a new addition. I needed a little bit of life gain, just a little bit of life gain, and trample's not really relevant. I more care about the life gain. Giving some of my creatures trample, of course, is good, but the more relevant part, I needed life gain. It's an equipment, and the second ability is why I'm playing it. Permanents your opponent's control is hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. I know they've gotten crazy lately, and now there's even more things with shield counters and whatnot. But this is still very relevant, losing hexproof and indestructible, and the life gain by itself is a threat in a game most of the time. And I know it seems like I don't play big creatures, but putting out a 5/4 or a 5/5 and giving it +1/+1 makes it a lot more threatening with life gain. It really does. Alright, let's keep going down. I still like Alrund. It's been performing really well. Author of Shadows has been crazy bonkers. The level of utility Author of Shadows offers you in a game is crazy absurd. I love this card. 5 mana, who cares? So good. So good. Literally has won me games over and over and over and over again. So if you're not playing Author of Shadows in black, you should be playing Authors of Shadows in black. So what else we got? You know, I've almost never drawn Dazzling Sphinx. Almost never. I think I drew it one game, and then I was already losing that game, and I was never able to get the combat damage through. I'm still kind of waiting to see how this plays out, but it's a completely free effect, so there's no way it's getting cut. Oh, and Nashi Moonsage Scion is even more bonkers than I originally thought, because I misread this and I've been misplaying this. I am no longer misplaying this card. What it actually said, I thought that it was only my opponent. What it actually says is top card of each player's library, which that is some legacy level stuff in Commander when you're attacking with this on turn 4. That is crazy overpowered. Crazy at 3 mana. Okay, we got Ragavan. Ragavan, what came in and what was cut for Ragavan? Oh, yeah. So it was Night. What is this thing? Night Vale Spectre. Night Vale Spectre was cut for Ragavan. Night Vale Spectre felt really slow. It felt really old. It felt really weak. It does what you want to do in the deck, but is just completely outpaced with new cards. So it got cut. Roxasha the Debaser, triggers on attack, really good for graveyard interaction, and it's a 6/6. I can't think of a reason not to play this. I've never used the Encore ability, but I may in the future. Shadowkin, you could probably say it's a questionable card, but it's a really fun card. It kind of goes off the same theme of stealing from the top of their deck. So, or you could steal from the top of your own deck if you really need to. But either way, you're generally getting something good, and it costs 4 mana, and it has flash, so you could flash it in at the end of their turn, and then you get something crazy and attack with it. So there's that. Sheoldred, the Whispering One, is a new addition, and that went a little bit up in the mana level because I wanted it to, and it is replacing Extract Brain. So Extract Brain was probably the only hand disruption card in the deck previously, but it just wasn't that great. Like, you don't know what they have in their hand, and they could have some serious garbage. So you're either paying 4 for this or you're paying 6 for this, and the best case scenario is you're paying 4 and you get something good. But what if they just have trash? And over and over and over again, my opponent has had trash. So that is why Extract Brain has been cut and replaced with Sheoldred. And realistically, you could tell yourself Extract Brain costs 4, but sometimes it costs 6, and then Sheoldred costs 7. And it's substantially better, does more graveyard interaction, works better with Lord Xander. There's infinite more reasons to play Sheoldred. There just are infinite more reasons. Okay, next up, Thief of Sanity has really been an underperformer. I feel like it's going to end up being replaced by something cheaper that costs like 2 or 1, or something that's better. I'm dying for it to work. It just hasn't worked out yet. It's come to play, sat there, and has not been able to attack many times because it would just die many times. Westgate region is amazing. Wildfire Devil is amazing. I was really excited this past weekend for Xanthar Guild Kingpin. That was the first time I was able to play it. First time it ever came up in a match. And I gotta tell you, if Xanthar Guild Kingpin comes up, you are dominating the crap out of your opponent. Like, you just win the game if this comes back around to your turn. Because I drew 3 cards off the top of their deck and played them and won the game. Flat out. So, yes, Xanthar. I'm still really debating Hurl Through Hell. It does what the deck does. It does kill something. I'm hoping for something better to come up. I feel like it's a placeholder for now. I feel like there has to be something better, but it fits the theme of the deck perfectly, and it exiles something obnoxious, so I'm really having a hard time cutting it. It does its job currently. Oh, Pact of Negation is a new addition because I'm playing blue, and there have been many scenarios where I needed a 0 mana counterspell, and Pact of Negation is it. 0 mana counterspell. I could play Force of Will. I don't feel like exiling my cards. I don't like that about Force of Will, but yeah, Pact of Negation is in, and it has saved some of my spells, and didn't win me a game, but it made my opponent work a lot harder. A whole lot harder. I countered their counter, and then they had to play 2 more spells in order to kill my permanents after I did Pact of Negation. And the game dragged on really long after that because I just totally messed with them. I was thinking about cutting Reinterpret for Mana Drain, but I literally talked about that during a match, and the scenario where reinterpret is better came up. I was able to reinterpret on their turn, obviously, counter a spell, and I put in one of my creatures. I put in Eltai Primal Storm, and he literally won me the game because my turn comes around, he no longer has Summoning Sickness because he went through untap, upkeep, etc., and he attacks. I don't really talk much about the lands, but I'll just click through them. They're pretty standard for lands. I don't think there's anything here strange or that would stand out. I think Path to Ancestry is my second tap land in here. I really dislike tap lands. I might replace Crumbling Necropolis with that new rare tap land, the Xanthar one. Because having more than like 2-ish tap lands in the deck is really bothersome to me. Because it comes up where you do screw yourself if you have too many tap lands. There's a slight mistake here for Strip Mine. What is that card? It is not Strip Mine. It could be Strip Mine. I just don't currently have Strip Mine in the deck. I'm playing, I don't think I have another Strip Mine right now. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, what the crap. I swear I just went through everything. Must have stuck. Yeah, here it is. It's a wasteland. That's what it is. Wasteland. So you can play Strip Mine. I just don't have a Strip Mine right now. So cutting Strip Mine, putting in Wasteland, just to be accurate. If anything, Strip Mine is better than Wasteland, but yeah, Wasteland going in. Again, I don't think there's anything abnormal here for the land base. Nothing really worth commenting on. I have a Volrath Stronghold in here because I absolutely wanted this card in the deck because I haven't made a new black deck in a very long time. And I haven't used it a single time yet. Not a single time. But it's there. It's amazing if it does come up. So let's see what else we got going on. We got Ashiok, Dak Faden. I really haven't drawn Dak yet. I'm hoping to. I got it to work like once or twice. That's about it. And we are at Sorceries. So, is anything new here? Oh, yeah. Necrotic Hex. Necrotic Hex is new. It is one of those flex spots. I felt like I needed a different kind of board wipe to address like indestructible and hexproof, and well, to address indestructible. And it's a power swing. So 7 mana, each player sacrifices 6 creatures. You create 6 tap 2/2 zombie creature tokens. So you blow the board, you get 6 creatures. You can't attack with them right away, which is fine. But you just gave yourself 12 power. Which, if you were losing before, you're probably now winning. But again, flex spot could be something else. River's Rebuke, also flex spot, but I'm finding it a lot better than other possible return spell options. It's pretty backbreaking, honestly. Like, it's grotesquely unfair to your opponent. For 6 mana, and you just poof their board back to their hand. Potentially better than Wrath of God, just because how far back it sets them. Time Warp. Okay. So I put Time Warp in because I was like, I'm playing blue. I kind of want to take an extra turn sometimes. So that's why I put Time Warp in. Could honestly be anything else, but there's another flex spot. And past couple times I've played it, it really hasn't been game breaking. Like it advanced my game a lot for the extra turn, but I mean, having played Magic for a really long time, I can tell you that sometimes taking one extra turn just means drawing one extra card, and it doesn't really do anything for you. But for now, Time Warp is staying in, and that is a good thing. And let me just see if there's anything I want to mention here. Most of the cards I cut were good cuts. The only card that I might want to put back in, just because I need some kind of utility here, sometimes I might put this card back in, is Divide by Zero. So let me put Divide by Zero up on the board. So it's a delay spell. It's a delay counter or a bounce. And for learn only works on the discard to draw a card. For legality rules in Commander, you don't actually get to learn and get your spell out, which is really, really lame for the rules. But it might eventually make its way back in, or maybe something else make its way back in, because I kind of want one more counter spell, and this was the other counter spell that I took out. We'll see. It might make its way back in, but I am really pleased overall with the way this deck is playing, and it just became so much more threatening with Lord Xander as the commander. Like, this has to be answered every time it's played. Corrosis the Purger doesn't have to be answered. It didn't. They could just ignore it. It's a 6/6 dragon. You don't have the mana, whatever. Lord Xander crushes your opponent when you play it. If they don't counter Lord Xander, you're going to start steamrolling them. Alright. Yeah, and that is like version 5 of like the switch around of this Red X on my journey up here for a new deck. And I am totally digging this deck. I love playing it. And you will find this deck on Moxfield, which I'll put it up. It's almost the same as Corrosis the Purger. You'll probably notice a couple different cards here or there. But yeah, this is going to go up. You'll be able to see it, look through all the cards at your leisure, and I hope you enjoyed the stream, because this was just going to be a short look over of this deck, and I gotta tell you, it is tons and tons of fun to play. You can modify this deck to be more multiplayer oriented. There are a lot of cards for that. I don't play in multiplayer games pretty much. I can't do occasionally, but usually it's like one-on-one. So this is more tuned for one-on-one. But you can make other spell choices. You can look them up where it says opponents and whatnot. And you can get a lot more value out of your spells. Some of the spells in here are already just opponents or all players, which they're very strong. Pretty much for me to play something that says it has to say like all players for me to play in a one-on-one game, because that's affect me and my opponent. So that is why I'm playing like Eltai Primal Storm. So because it affects me and my opponent, and it's amazing in general. But you can find tons and tons and tons and tons of more effects that are like Eltai in a multiplayer game to get you more value out of your cards. So if you're in like a 3-person game or a 4-person game, there's plenty of other multiplayer cards that can crush your opponents, and you get way more value than some of the spells I'm playing. But again, look for this up on Moxfield. I will post it after this video. And I hope you enjoyed the stream, and have a pleasant evening. And if you're not subscribed to my channel here on Twitch, this video will also go up on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel there. And have a good night. Bye-bye.